Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2007 My Team Career Mode, and this is part number 5 today for the grand finale of this mini-series with the Japanese Grand Prix and the Brazilian GP. If you guys have missed the previous episode or any of the parts that have been uploaded this entire week, then be sure to go check them out before you see this one. But in the last part, we had two crucial races at Belgium and at Monza against the Scuderia, against Kimi Räikkönen, and I guess you could say Felipe Massa as well, because he did pretty well at Monza. But it was a case of damage limitation and then doing the maximum we could at Monza to stay ahead of Räikkönen. And in the end, things went our way a little bit at that second race, and we are still in lead of the Drivers' Championship going into Suzuka. I think it's going to be very difficult to take a march on the Ferrari team in the Constructors' Championship, because you can see both Kimi and Massa up there, you know, only 2 points in between them, and obviously Raikkonen being 6 points off us, and Kobayashi down in P5. You know, he's done very well this season, but I think they're just going to be too quick, both of them at the same time, for us to maybe get the Constructors. But the Drivers' Championship is still something we could somehow pull off against two very lightning quick Ferrari. So this is it, the final part of this mini-series. It's been a lot of fun, and we've got 2 rounds to go. Let's hit it. Suzuka, not a track that the 2007 season actually came to in real life, because they actually went to Fuji Speedway in that year, but nice to go around this circuit in this era of cars, and I'm hoping that the circuit's characteristics can play in our favour, especially in Sector 1, maybe looking a bit quicker as we gain some time in the S section. From P6 to P2 it was just the end there, down to P4 with the acceleration of other cars playing into it. Kobayashi is right up there. We have brought upgrades to this car, and Kobayashi is flying to the front of the grid. I think that's him on pole position. We can only muster P4, surprisingly. So, as I said, there are upgrades on this car into this final episode, so clearly they're working well for Kobayashi, but I just couldn't find the ultimate speed, but I think it was pretty close between everyone. The Ferrari guys, I imagine, are going to be in the middle of myself and Kobayashi, so that might bode well for my championship hope. Maybe Kobayashi can help me out a little bit and we do a bit of teamwork to try and get us ahead of the Ferrari cars. But here's confirmation then of the starting grid for this second last race of this mini season. Kobayashi on pole position. Raikkonen, though, our main rival, in second place. But remember, Massa is also a threat in the championship. He's not featuring in the top 4, though. It's David Coulthard in 4th place. We're up to 3rd. Hamilton, Fisichella, Kovalainen, Heidfeld, Schumacher, and then Massa is there in P10. So he has a grid penalty, along with Fernando Alonso, who's down in P14, and Mark Webber as well. So the penalties are coming late on in this mini My Team season for a couple of drivers here at Suzuka, and a 4th one to add, Nico Rosberg at the back of the grid. So that's one less Ferrari to worry about, but Raikkonen's still there on the front row. But now we have a better run into turn 1 in the opening laps as well, being up in 3rd and having one less rival car to try and attack. Here we go then to the second last race of the season. We go to 5 red lights to the Japanese Grand Prix, and we're underway, and Raikkonen gets a bit of a slow getaway. We're trying our best to climb up the gears and barrel to turn 1 to make anything happen, but instead we're actually faced with some defensive work of our own versus Coulthard. The Red Bull nearly overtook me. I had to squeeze him a bit to the right to make sure we still kept up in 3rd place there, and even though we got a better launch than the Iceman, we just couldn't climb up the gears and the acceleration quick enough. But thankfully Kamui has kept the P1. He already thrilled his home fans, remember, on the Saturday with the pole. Could he convert it to his first ever win of his F1 career here in front of his home crowd, as we now go later on into the race, watching Sebastian Vettel make contact with Mark Webber, his future teammate in later years. He's made contact with him, and the Toro Rosso driver is spun round at turn 1, and that brings out the safety car on lap 3. The race order still the same, but under the safety car. A lot of us in the top 10 are coming in off this first compound tyre onto the next compound that will see us through to the end. And unfortunately, this will mean I have to double stack with Kobayashi, but there was no point staying out because I would lose even more positions staying out and then pitting the next lap like my team tried to tell me to do. And then not pitting at all would be a huge disaster because of the bunching up, and obviously due to only there being one pit stop in this race, getting this free pit stop is crucial, even if it means doing a double stack. So we lose a couple of positions. We're now behind Fisichella, Hamilton, maybe another car as well. Massa has ended up now right behind us, ironically, and all that. So even with a 10th place penalty, we now face a Ferrari, the other Ferrari, right behind us. So we've got some work to do. There are 3 cars in between myself and Raikkonen. Fisichella is the first one. We'll try and make easy work of him as we get on to green flag racing on lap 6. So we're kind of already halfway through this Grand Prix. We've not seen too much go on so far due to the long safety car. Hamilton and Coulthard up next, but Raikkonen is the target. We have to try and aim for him to try and keep this lead in the championship. Dive down the inside of Coulthard and Hamilton to get the 2-for-1 pass on the McLaren and the Red Bull. Meanwhile, on the exit, Coulthard struggling for traction, and Hamilton is on the outside as the McLaren tries to gain that position there and kind of follow me through in a way. Through the spoon curves he goes now, double left-hander. He's got the inside line, gets the run on him on the exit, crucially, and will be up the position. Meanwhile, we are now chasing after Kimi, who is stuck behind a battle between Kamui Kobayashi and one of the Super Guri cars, I think it is. And they're so slow through 130R that here we go. The double pass, maybe even a triple overtake, as we just can't quite get Kobayashi, but we do get the double pass on Raikkonen and Davidson. He got caught out in the traffic with that side-by-side with Kobayashi and Davidson. He's now going to finally finish the move off on a much slower Super Guri car of Anthony Davidson and get up that one position, but the damage has already been done. We've got ahead of Raikkonen, and so now we are left to watch Kobayashi cut his way through the traffic. We're going to try and follow him through as he gets the other Toro Rosso of the Grid Liuzzi into 130R again. A bit slow as they go side by side, and that will allow us to maybe make the pass. Oh, tyre on the grass as Liuzzi really gives us a good old squeeze, but we're going to keep our wits about us, keep our foot in under braking, and then the throttle mid-corner and get past him. But Raikkonen and Hamilton make even easier work of the Toro Rosso. And so Raikkonen trying flat out to keep up with this basically. So I'm almost trying to just chuck cars in between us, but eventually it will just be Kobayashi, myself, and then Raikkonen in 1, 2, 3. Hamilton P4 effectively. Once, these slower cars are either overtaken or obviously pit. Barrichello, one of them, the Honda car, yet to pit in this race. Started on that hard compound of tyre. We're on the inside at 130R, a bit more committed through there because we don't have to worry about him going too slow, although he does dive bomb me, Barrichello does, so had a look. But purple first sector, green the second. Could this be nicking away the fast lap of the Grand Prix away from Kobayashi? It will. We are the fastest man out on circuit now, so it's all to play for. We could actually get this race win right now to 1-2 for Aarava Archer Racing here in 2007, and unfortunately for Kamui and the home fans, I'm looking to maybe spoil the party for the Japanese here. Can we get Kobayashi into 130R? It's going to be mighty fine. Side by side, bit of a grass kicked up there as we try and give Kamui all the room in the world on the outside there, and he didn't give me too much room to work with on the inside curb, to be honest. That's why we had to dip a tyre into the grass, but clearly he wants this win. We're fighting hard. We have to be careful though. Look at Raikkonen in the background. We're using Kamui for a bit of slipstream. We pull out then to the racing line, and I'm hoping, Kobayashi blocks him off. So although we can't get the pass done on our teammate, Kobayashi there actually helped me out there by blocking Raikkonen into turn 1. Lap 10 now, so the laps are coming thick and fast, and we're running out of time in this Grand Prix maybe. Can we go waltzing round the outside at Spoon Curve on Kobayashi? We had the mid-corner speed, but then in a straight line, even my own teammate is better than me in a straight line. We're in the slipstream right under his gearbox and rear wing to the inside again. Little lift off again to give him room, otherwise that would have been a horrific crash in one of the quickest corners here on the circuit. And Kobayashi still on the outside. We're giving him all the room to work with. because I want him to still be there in second place if I can help it. Now, giving him some slipstream, Raikkonen will get boxed in, and Kobayashi's doing exactly what I want him to do and fighting Raikkonen on the inside, and he's pushed wide enough that I think Raikkonen now, yep, he's come out behind Hamilton. Kobayashi has done us a solid there. He's pushed Raikkonen wide, and Hamilton all of a sudden is up into a podium position. Raikkonen's down to P4. Even Massa's now maybe on his heels, but Kobayashi is fighting this with everything he's got. He's through ahead of us, even before 130R, and he's back up into P1. And you know what? Having helped us out with Raikkonen there, I'm really not too fussed about fighting him too much for the race win. It's his home race. It would be absolutely insane for him to win this Japanese GP, but at the same time we need to make sure we don't fall into the clutches of Hamilton and Raikkonen. But because Raikkonen's P4, I'm a lot more comfortable now with being second place, but I will have a go at Kobayashi if I can on the inside. Oh, he gives us a good old squeeze. He really wants this win. I think that was our sign to maybe back off. I think, you know, he clearly really wants this with everything he's got, because he did just turn into me. So let's let off him a little bit, and we'll let him get the win here. But on the last lap of the Grand Prix, let's see what's going to happen, because without him giving me a tow, Hamilton's in the slipstream. Raikkonen's now back at it though. Oh no, the Iceman on the inside, fighting for all he's worth, and those last couple of points to at least limit the damage. Hamilton with a kamikaze dive, and Raikkonen's lucky that they didn't make contact. Raikkonen on the last sector gets P3, but Kamui Kobayashi wins the Japanese Grand Prix, his home race. We came home in second. It's a 1-2 for the team, but unfortunately Raikkonen was just a bit too quick right at the end, got the P3.
Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
If this happened in real life, this crowd would have gone mad, absolutely mad, because when Kamui actually got on the podium here in Suzuka with the P3, it was like he won the race. So he's actually won the race here in this alternate 2007 mini-series season. What a win for him. It's the first 1-2 for our team in the season, and that's a very strong way to enter the final race. We get 3 points on Raikkonen. Massa was down in P5, so we are going to still be in the lead of the Drivers' Championship going into Sao Paulo. Kimi Raikkonen trails us by 9 points. Massa, an outside chance with 16 points there. I don't know what the pace is going to be like around Sao Paulo, but you gotta say we should feel quite comfortable, because we could even finish behind Kimi in Sao Paulo and still win this Grand Prix. So I think the pressure is off a little bit, but you know, it's Sao Paulo in a finale, and that's always a recipe for an interesting race. So let's see what happens. One final race to go. Can we get this over the line and get this historic championship? The season finale at Sao Paulo in this era of cars. It is good to be back. It's going to be a pretty interesting one, I think. Clearly, Ferrari will be quick, but can we be quick enough at least to get a position that will get us the championship? Massa looking strong in the first sector, and I imagine he may go on to get pole. To be honest, I'm not really too far. If Massa gets pole and even goes on to win, that's fine by me, but it matters where Kimi is and where we are, because by the end of the lap, we're down in P5. We're not even on the second row here. Across the line, and we've not got the kind of pace I thought we would around Sao Paulo, at least for me as an individual. I don't know where Kamui Kobayashi is going to end up being, but we're on the third row then, in 5th place. So mathematically, Massa, I think, is on pole there by that ghost result. I reckon Kimi's probably second. So if Kimi gets second, 5th place is enough for me to get this championship. So as long as I don't lose positions and Kimi doesn't gain positions as well to get the win. This could be fine, but let's see what the actual grid order shapes like and where on earth Kobayashi is and where the McLarens feature. It's an all-Ferrari front row then. Kimi is indeed in second place. Hamilton third. Kobayashi ahead of us in P4 off the back of a brilliant race win at Suzuka. Coulthard P6 though. Alonso down in P7 alongside Trulli. Heifel and Raf Schumacher round out the top 10. Then Jensen Button Fisichella. Kovalainen Rosberg P13-14 with Mark Webber and Rubens Barrichello on the next row. Sebastian Vettel, Robert Kubica on 17th and 18th, and Alexander Wirtz and Lutzi round out the top 20. And then outside are the Super Guris of Sato and Davidson for the final 2007 My Team grid. It has been a really fun little mini-series. Very, different breath of fresh air to what we've had with F1 22. Especially, with the mod being so amazing. It was great to actually get a little mini-series in there. I know a lot of you guys wanted it. And so here we are then. One final outing. We're in P5. We're in the position we need to be in by the end of the race to win this championship if Raikkonen stays in P2. That's a big if, and it's a big if of me staying here because it looks like the McLarens are a bit quicker because Hamilton out-qualified Kobayashi. So maybe McLaren in this final race have brought enough upgrades to bother us a little bit, which could be a bit worrying. So let's see how this all shapes out then. Because for one final time in 2007, here we go to 5 red lights. The Brazilian Grand Prix, the championship finale is underway, and it's a slow getaway for us versus Coulthard and even Fernando Alonso. Alonso on the outside, we get boxed and tapped by the Spaniard, and we have to hold the car opposite lock just to keep it going in the right direction. And counting my lucky stars, we weren't spun round and facing the wrong way like Sebastian Vettel would go on to do in 2012 at this very corner, as we have to also squeeze out Trulli on the inside. What is going on? Where is the pace at the opening part of this race? As now we're behind the Red Bull. Alonso's overtaken Coulthard. He's up into P5. Raikkonen, though, thankfully remains in P2. So we know what we have to do. We have to re-overtake Coulthard and Alonso, and then that will be enough. But of course, we'll try and go on and see if we can get Hamilton as well, and even try and catch up to Kobayashi. But we make a bold dive bomb down the inside of Coulthard there. Tyres banging, but no car contact. Rubber to rubber, and we're going to get the elbow out, and that worked for us to get up into P6. And to be honest, I'm desperate, so we needed to make that kind of aggressive move. It wasn't pretty by any means, but it had to be done because we need to now be behind this man to get this overtake. This one overtake could get us the championship in theory, basically, but it's going to be tough. The McLaren, it genuinely looks like it's a bit quicker, at least in a straight line there. Alonso had us in the corners. Well, we're going to try and overtake Alonso, but this is going to be a real close one. Lock up. We make a little bit of contact with Fernando. He comes back at us a little bit as well. Side by side down the hill. He tucks in behind. We're up into P5, and we've made 2 overtakes of that same corner. Both haven't been the cleanest, I will admit, but as I said, desperate times, okay? I've been hurt too many times on F1 22 by not getting a Drivers' Championship over the line. In 07, I want to get this one over the line. We're now right up behind Lewis Hamilton, looking to get P4, because you know what? I've actually thought Massa in first place, 25 points. Me being down here in P5, there's actually a scenario where Massa could steal this entire championship. So for safety measures, I want to definitely try and get Hamilton and try and get on the back of Kobayashi, because I don't want a situation where he just comes out of nowhere to get the championship whilst I'm too busy focusing on the points gap to Raikkonen. But Hamilton seems to be a very tough customer to overtake. We tried it a couple of times there, half-hearted dive bombs here and there, but now on to lap 7, right up his rear wing. Can we make it work into turn 1 from quite far back? We roll the car through in second gear, get the nose in then in first gear, side by side through the exit of this Senna S. Hamilton, though, is going to climb the acceleration a bit better than I can, and in a drag race, the McLaren definitely looks a bit quicker in this final race. Banging tyres now. Hamilton really wants to keep this position. We're going to keep our foot in and committed to getting this overtake done. Contact! Contact made with Lewis, and now the front left of our front wing is slightly broken. It's yellow on the heads-up display. Alonso gets Hamilton. I wonder if Lewis himself has some damage. Either way, I'm coming in. Hamilton comes in as well, so I think he's got damage as well. Raikkonen's in now as well for his planned pit stop, but this is a bit earlier than I was wanting to come in for, because we were on the quicker compound. I wanted to go a bit longer, but we've come in and we have to change our front wing. So all of a sudden we went from looking comfortable in P5, looking to just cover our bases on Massa, getting up into P4, and now it's all been undone and we're down, well, in last place at the moment, but that's because a lot of people are yet to pit in this Grand Prix. But we've got some work to do. We've got 3 cars ahead of us to get to Hamilton, and that's also the second McLaren, because I think Alonso will probably pit and come out ahead of Hamilton. So we've got a lot of making up to do, but thankfully a lot of these cars are a lot slower than our car, and we're going to fly past Heidfeld up into P21 though, but not ideal, you know, being in a championship finale and being in stone dead last. But we're going to try and change that now as we go on through the laps. Lap 9, overtaking Ralf Schumacher up into P17. Finally, a few people are making their pit stops. Trulli, the next car up, as we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, because we had so much clean air. A slight lock up in the rear end steps out there a little bit, but we get the move done on Trulli. But we're showing in clean air, when a lot of fighting cars are having to be stuck behind them in dirty air, we've got a lot of pace here. So this could have been a much easier race for us, but now with that damage and that front wing change, we have to do all the work to get past Coulthard for this second time in this race. This time this move is a lot cleaner than the one on lap 1 was, and now we're behind Hamilton, who's stopped behind Davidson. Can we use that Super Aguri to help us out down the inside? And we're going to get Hamilton and use the Super Aguri in the same way we did in Suzuka to overtake Raikkonen. This time it helps us get Hamilton, and Davidson will come in, so he'll be elevated up into P6 at the moment. Where's Wirtz? There he is, P5. Behind us though, Hamilton, big dive bomb from the McLaren. That was out of nowhere. You saw him in the mirrors. He was so far back. I was very surprised by that little dive bomb, but we've got him. We're up into P5 then, so once again we're safe for the championship from Raikkonen. But I want to get Alonso because I'm worried about Massa. We've got the fast lap of the Grand Prix right now, but what if Massa was to get the fastest lap? Would it be enough points for him to get the championship? I'm not really too sure about the maths on the fly right now, but I don't want to leave it to chance. So we're going to try and overtake the second McLaren. We were unsuccessful in the first stint at doing that, but we're already past Hamilton this time. It's Alonso, and we've already done that once, so let's see. But it looks like these McLarens are up for a fight today. Definitely, they must have brought some upgrades, because they didn't look this quick and this aggressive around Spa, at least, when we were getting Alonso even before he made his pit stop. As we're now side by side with the Spaniard, this is turning into a real tasty battle, actually, as we're neck and neck and jockeying for position all the way through this undulating roller coaster of a Sector 2, as we now climb the hill slowly before going down, avoiding action. We nearly could have made contact with Alonso there. We're going to brake early, go for this switchback from right to left, get on the power earlier. Alonso squeezes us towards the grass, but we're going to get our nose in there, and we're fully alongside and now ahead of Alonso up into P4, but he's going to come back at us just like Lewis did, and look at him, he's flying past us. The McLarens are so much better around Sao Paulo. We're going to have to fight him at turn 1. We go too deep though into the corner and actually invite Alonso back through, unfortunately, so he's back ahead, and we have to go again to try and get this P4 to feel absolutely comfortable of a championship win versus Raikkonen and Felipe Massa. Lap 16 onto 17, onto the second last lap of the Grand Prix. Alonso, he's just got a bit too much pace here. Can we try and force the move through? He goes a little bit wide. We lock up to try and get the nose as I try to turn the nose in, and we stick behind him, and we might just have enough pace to pull through here on the straight to the end of Sector 1. On the left-hand side, we'll have the inside line to try and squeeze him out late on the brakes, get to the apex, and Alonso, I think he either must have got scared off a little bit from the racing line or maybe locked up, because in the mirrors he fell away quite dramatically behind us on the exit of that corner. So we're into P4. We've still got the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Massa is going to win this Brazilian GP. It's a 1-2 for Ferrari. They'll win the Constructors' Championship, but we are coming through to take P4 and this win of the 2007 Drivers' World Championship. We've rewritten history today, and we've got the win for Archer Aarava Senior, Driver of the Day and the championship win.
It's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion.
It's been a very tough task, and I'm so happy about getting this done versus two very strong Ferraris. Make no mistake, those races in Spa, Monza, they were so crucial. That Suzuka race again, to be able to get the 1-2 and beat both Ferraris, those races set us up for this successful finale, because it's close actually, because with Massa getting that win, I was correct to be worried about Massa in this championship, because he finishes the championship level on points with Raikkonen, only 3 points off me. If I hadn't got 4th place and didn't have the fast lap of the Grand Prix, if I just had 5th place without a fastest lap, Massa could have won this championship, being level on points with me, but having more race wins this season. So that overtake on Alonso and that fastest lap I got was so crucial to make sure we got this over the line. But we've done it. We've rewritten history in this now, I guess, alternate 2007 with Archer Aarava Senior at the top, winning the Drivers' Championship. Ferrari get the Constructors. It was always going to be tough there. A bit of a shame to not see McLaren in there. You know, from the start of the season, the first 2 races, I thought they would have been there, but being My Team career mode, you can't control the AI, what they're going to do. And McLaren's AI team, they just did not upgrade enough, and they just fell out of the championship. It is what it is, really. That's how My Team works sometimes. But guys, this has been a really enjoyable little mini series to round out the year. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I did to record it and make it a nice little breather from F1 22. But of course, that next season of F1 22 will begin in the new year, and we will be returning to continue that storyline that we're writing in the modern era of Formula One. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this little trip back down memory lane and into history with this 2007 My Team series. If you have enjoyed this episode and the entire series, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula One content. And I guess there's only one thing left to say. Happy New Year, guys. See you in 2023.